Hi, hello, and welcome to Vertex of Abundance. My name is Serene Priestess Gorgeous. I'll be your oracle today, also known as the Blosi Baba. And I was sent by the temple to deliberate my findings for the 1111 Divine Lovers Councilship of January 2020. So we're a few days late, and the format is gone back to the original. So I'll explain just a tad bit, okay? On the new moon, we do the divine partnership, the twin flame. And on the full moon, we do the karmic and the catalytic, okay? And then we alternate each month. So last month was the Capricorn new moon. The guidance was for the divine feminine. Okay, so what the divine feminine could do to ascend. Now, this month is going to be the divine masculine, just like it was 2 months ago. Okay, so next month we'll do the divine feminine, just like we did last month. All right, so you'll see as it goes on, and then in the extended reading, we actually do guidance. So I'll deliberate my findings. I'll also say what the shared energy is, and then you can click through in the show notes or navigate over right now to Blosi Baba on YouTube, and you could get the extended. That's a premium. Right now it's free, so we'll call it freemium. There is also, I'm gonna put a flash sale in there. It's a true flash sale, meaning it'll only be around a couple of days. I don't know yet right now if the temple is going to do it for a short amount of days or limited per a certain amount of people. It might be 5 people get it. It might be the flash sale only goes on for 72 hours. I don't know. When I do the extended guidance, when I impose my guidance, then I'll know. Okay. Okay, great. So we're going to get in. We'll be deliberating the findings from the Vanessa Day Court Tarot of the Sun and Moon. And the shared energy, also the guidance, will come from the Thoth Tarot and this Cosmic Activation Cards for the Soul by Nadi Anastasia. Okay, so we have that. We have the shared energy, and it's going to talk a lot about transformation, healing, teaching, shining, being radiant, moving forward, and that's going to require security in the self. Okay, so we have Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Swords, 4 of Cups, 2 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups, 8 of Wands, Knight of Wands, or Prince of Wands, 8 of Wands, 7 of Wands, Queen of Cups. So I'm detecting a couple of things right now. So this is for the more higher ascended love. Let us begin. We move into this cycle. By the way, the divine feminine is closer to the camera. The divine masculine is further away from the camera. And masculine has very little to do with gender, meaning the anatomy, the gender assigned at birth. It really is who's more receptive and who's more active, who receives the energy and who puts out the energy. In a real twin flame relationship, it'll switch about every 18 months depending on the nodal axis as well. Because the nodal axis has to do with the physical kundalini of the earth. Even though they're just aspects of the moon, it does talk about the physical ascension, the nodes. Okay. So we enter in this cycle with a little bit of stagnancy. And to me, Aquarian new moon means I'll be talking mostly to the divine masculine. So it's clear to me that there was something that went down masculine. An offer might have been made because I can see the feminine is sitting pretty, but you are either waiting for a cycle of time or you are I can see we enter the cycle in with some waiting, masculine. And for me, the obstacle, the challenge is getting things going. You might be preparing for something. You might be preparing for a decision, a discernment, a judgment, a deliberation. Is mirrored on the feminine by moving forward. Expanding, driving forward. So your focus is, I'm hearing the song by Bjork, All Is Full of Love. We have the Queen of Cups on your side, masculine. It's mirrored by the Seven of Wands. So somebody's staying on high ground, most not likely you. You've kind of gone into yourself, gone into your feelings, or opened up your feelings, which in the beginning of the cycle, it's not like you didn't have feelings, you weren't sure what they are, or you weren't sure what to think, so you didn't know what your feelings were. Because the Two of Swords, it's you have all the facts, but the answer will change when your feelings change, not when the facts change. You actually have everything's been presented, everything's already out in the open. But since you feel some kind of way, it's a little murky. And that's why people call it the indecision card, Two of Swords. It's not indecisive. You need to take an inventory of your feelings. It's not that you have too many choices, Seven of Cups. It's that you are not sure how you feel about your choices. Options, even. Because the sacrifice to make here is to clarity will drive this forward, to expand through clarity. Truth. The mental body is going to be the mechanism that starts making things happen here for you, masculine. And it's mirrored with healing on the feminine. So the feminine may need to open up and share their feelings. So we have a hidden 10 of Cups. So the feminine is really in alignment with this, but it's not in the physical. It's really in the spiritual. In the astral, they're waiting. In the astral, they're healing. In the astral, they feel some type of nostalgia for the past or healing where they know you on a soul level. But I'm going to say it this way. Your human may suck to them a little bit, but your soul is very beautiful. And what they're needing is for you to start making things happen, get clear. Because they've already landed. They're already here in this union, and you're not. You need to show up. So part of this is you might have been wanting to have the lovey-dovey feelings, also get back to the physical intimacy. And I can see very clearly you start negotiating, navigating as the cycle ends. So the cycle begins with not a lot going on at all. It's actually stagnant and stale, if at the very least indecisive. And it's not clear how long. It seems to be, for me, at least a month before this cycle, at least a month before you started watching this video, there was nothing, almost no communication even. And this is supposed to be a very enlightened, alive, and ascended connection. The 1111 is, if you want to watch the karmic, it's going to be the revolving door. So this connection, this union, there's love on the masculine side, there's receptivity on the feminine side. What's not happening is clarity. They need to move forward with a decision. They need to move in with a decision. Now, I do see that the masculine is facing away, putting things together. And the feminine is like, I don't know if they're expecting it, but I see that, because it says the sacrifice for the feminine is expansion. They need to expand something. But honestly, I feel like the feminine is expanding their high ground because the masculine is working on some things. And I could see, I'm having a vision right now, which is rare for me. I'm seeing whack-a-mole. And it's a little bit harsher. I'm softening my words. The whack-a-mole is not with bobbing hedgehogs or whatever. It's actually knives, stabbing things. So that's a little bit harsh. But there's all lovely cards on the feminine side. The masculine has a little bit harsher cards. But it can be that their feelings are getting kicked left, right, and sideways. Because the focus for the masculine is open heart, is water on top of water. Queen of Cups, purely open-hearted. But they start out indecisive. They end a little bit more, less indecisive, still indecisive. It's not an indecision here at the end. It's more of like, I can't decide which way to go, so I'm going to give to both ways. Because it's clear to me that the feminine wants a solid expansion or there's going to be nothing. The feminine is trying to stay on their high ground. The masculine is trying to open up to love. The feminine, the sacrifice to make on the feminine side is healing, receptivity to cleansing, healing, purification. The masculine is mirroring that with logical expansion. Executing some type of choice, executing some type of decision. The feminine is executing some type of defense. See, the sacrifice to make on the masculine side is to execute some type of decision. The feminine, the obstacle, the challenge is to execute some type of defense. So whatever the feminine is doing is adding to the workload of the masculine. They can handle it pretty easily, but that it does leave them with a lack of clarity. Could we end this cycle with things starting to work out, but they're just starting to work out, and there's a lot to develop and build? And the masculine is going to be the one driving that cycle of building. So I would be curious why the feminine is defensive. I would be curious why the masculine is indecisive. Now, at its very best, indecision could be, it's a time cycle. You need to wait a couple of weeks for things to flesh themselves out. Because the Two of Wands, I mean, the Two of Swords could be anything. Well, the Two of Wands is weighing up your options. The Two of Swords is making a decision. That could be so much as filing for a divorce petition, waiting for a ruling, waiting for a judgment. When the jury's out deliberating before the judgment comes in, Three of Swords, it's a Two of Swords. You're waiting. And the sacrifice to make is to wait for a cycle. For the Queen of Cups waits, nurtures their hopes, their wishes, their dreams, their heart's desires. They conjure up what they want. They don't actually physically go after it. So they're waiting for some type of choice to be honored, acknowledged, decision to come back. And it's very much heart's desire. They're deeply invested in it emotionally, the masculine. Because they're going to start working with whatever this, when it comes to, we leave the cycle with, well, the feminine gets an offer, but the masculine is waiting for some type of thing to be worked out to start offering to the feminine. So they have to have something going on so that they can start offering half of whatever's going on to the feminine. That could sound like different stories for different folks. They could be waiting for money to come through to give to the feminine. They could be waiting for a divorce decision to come through to notify the feminine. Whatever it is, the feminine is expecting to receive something practical. The masculine is It's called negotiation navigation, driving life forward according to a decision. And they are building things in the background, but this building things in the background, it's facing away from the union here, the connection. So, okay, yeah. So even though this is the 1111 Divine Lovers series, we seem to have a revolving door edition here because we have the shadow self in the combined, and it does seem like they're fighting each other, but they don't know that they're fighting each other, or they're not aware that they want the same thing and they're fighting each other. So there's some aspect of shadow illusion here. They're doing the same thing, but the feminine does it first, the masculine does it later, and they want the same thing, but they're fighting each other. The masculine's fighting the feminine by focusing their energy somewhere else. And the feminine is fighting the masculine because they keep looking to the past, trying to prevent the past from happening in the future. But the masculine is looking out of the past into the future, looking at changes to make, new energy to bring in. And the feminine is trying to prevent old energy from coming in. So the masculine has no intention at all of repeating past energies. The only time the masculine even looks into the past is to come and get the feminine. And I don't have the energy here of the feminine is looking forward into the future, fighting the past. The masculine is not even focused on the past at all. Now, I can tell that the masculine is healing more from the past. They're still a little bit more in the shadow. The feminine is rising out of the shadow a little bit, but they're inviting the shadow in more, or they keep sensing, feeling the shadow. That tells me that there's a heart-to-heart or telepathic connection. That the feminine is reading the energy of the masculine, but the energy of the masculine, I will say the masculine is working it out. As soon as it comes up, it's gone. So that would explain why the swords are here, because that's rapid, quick, swift, decisive movement. And it could be that the masculine is waiting for the feminine to do something, but the feminine is not moving. The challenge for the feminine is to move. The challenge for the masculine is to get some type of communication. The sacrifice for the masculine is some type of movement, and the sacrifice for the feminine is some type of healing. The sacrifice is what has to happen in order for the cycle to complete. We'll never get to this offer, we'll never get to this negotiation navigation without the masculine moving through with some type of decision and the feminine accepting an offer of reunion or healing or reconciliation. Feminine is focused on defense and the masculine is focused on love. So masculine, my guidance to you so far from these preliminary findings here, my cursory guidance, would be to, it's okay. I could see that you might be waiting 2 months or 4 weeks for something, but something's gonna happen in about a week. I don't know what it is. It's gonna come from the feminine side, or the linchpin is on the feminine side, even if it's something that you need to do where they respond to it. There's some event happens in a week. I don't know what it is yet. You'll need to check the extended reading. And this whole cycle is going to conclude itself in about 2 months. And I see there's going to be, well, see, it's already halfway done. So you've already been waiting 2 weeks. In the background here as we move into the cycle. And then things speed up just for a second. Masculine's heart opens, starts yearning, conjuring for something. And then whatever they need happens so they can move forward. And it's completely wrapped up within 2 months. But see, we're about a week into this 2 months already. So I'll read more about what this shadow self is on the flip side and the extended. But unless you learn to face your own shadows, you will continue to see them in others, because the world outside you is a reflection of the world inside of you. So the obstacle here is, I am healed as I acknowledge all aspects of myself. You know, I'm afraid to say something because it's too close to my own personal story. But it's come up too many times for me to not say. I feel like the feminine is expecting the masculine to come in and make some type of movement or gesture. And the masculine is kind of like energy flows where energy goes. So if it's not a flow, it's not a go. When I direct my energy at you, it doesn't seem to be receptive, so I put it somewhere where it does. The feminine's fighting off a lot of things, and it might have been necessary at some other time, but it doesn't make sense now. And the sacrifice for the feminine to make is to accept, receive, reconcile, and reunite. And they seem guarded against that right now. Healing, defense, communication, no being. Receiving, communication, receiving, defense, healing. So the sacrifice to make on the feminine side is going to be to be. Sun is always being. And then Mars for the masculine, that is defense, tactics, strategy. And see, that's not how the masculine is. They feel and receive. This masculine might be very feminine. They're definitely more feminine than the feminine here. The feminine over here is some masculine energy. Okay, so it's been an honor and a pleasure. I'm going to go ahead and impose my findings. Impose my guidance here. So we have the Tower, the Empress, the Death card, the Devil, the Moon card, the Fool card, the Justice card, the Star card, the Hierophant, and the Chariot. And the combined energy is the Temperance. So check the link in the show notes. Remember, there's a quick flash sale going on. I'll decide what it's going to be in the extended briefing. You can go ahead and click through for it now. It's not clear what the offer is yet. Okay, take good care. Bye.